lot of our media organizations have been misusing the power of the camera and the microphone. There's been a mushrooming of news channels. A media tag, a journalist tag is not a free pass. It is not a pass to bypass the law. It's not a ticket to act above the law. Our readers, उनको भी समझना चाहिए कि just because एक समय पे कोई आपका मुद्दा उठा रहा है तो उसको जय जयकार करोगे और दूसरों को गाली दोगे, I think that's not correct. The General Secretary of the APUWJ. Now, as the General Secretary of the Union of Working Journalists, I have to, unequivocally side and support our members. How do I see the scenario of media channels in Arunachal Pradesh? I think for the past few years, the media in Arunachal has been growing. The landscape of the media in Arunachal has also grown quite exponentially in the last, I would say in the last 6 years. Yeah, 6 years would be safe to say. There has been a massive growth in the electronic media landscape in Arunachal Pradesh. News consumers need to decide what kind of news they want to consume. If you're a reader, if you're a viewer, I think you need to, I think we need to, not you, I would say, I think we need to decide as to what is the kind of news that we are willing to subscribe to, what are the kind of, what kind of journalism is it that we would like to see on our television sets, on our mobile phones, the kind of news that we would like to read. If, whether, now you asked if I would like, if that responsibility lies with the audiences or with with journalists. I think it lies, that responsibility I think lies with both parties. I think we as journalists need to ensure that we keep giving good content, responsible content, ethical content, news that is not biased, news that is not one-sided, news that is well-rounded. I often say that news, while presenting the news, that it's often said that we need to present both sides of the story. But I think an actual news story has only one shape, and that's a circular shape, which means there is no one side. It's all. It's a complete picture. It's a complete circular picture that we need to present to our viewers, to our readers. It's our responsibility. And our consumers, our readers, उनको भी समझना चाहिए कि just because एक समय पे कोई आपका मुद्दा उठा रहा है तो उसको जय जयकार करोगे और दूसरों को गाली दोगे, I think that's not correct. आपको भी समझना है कि एक पत्रकार, एक जर्नलिस्ट का काम आपका इशू को, आपके ही मुद्दों को ही सिर्फ जोर जोर से चिल्ला के प्रेजेंट करना नहीं है. एक जर्नलिस्ट का काम ये है कि he or she tells a complete picture, presents the entire picture of what has happened, why it has happened, how it happened, when it happened, where it happened. These are the important tenets that journalists have to present. And I think the blame lies with both us as journalists and us as audiences and as viewers as well. I think that's where we need to take a shared responsibility and a shared blame for the state of affairs that it has degraded to currently that I can see, unfortunately, in our state. And as is often said, there has been a mushrooming of news channels. Good or bad, that's not for me to decide. But of course, there are areas of improvement. There are areas where we can learn learn to become better journalists, to organize and to operate better media houses, to remember why we got into the field, to remember that our ethics take primacy. I am being a little extra critical of electronic media in the state. I think a lot of our journalists and a lot of our media organizations have been misusing the power of the camera and the microphone. This has happened recently over the last 3 years, especially during the pandemic. We've always seen traces of it happen in the past as well, even with the print media journalists. I will not absolve myself of that responsibility, but even within the press media fraternity, this has happened in the past. I think it does kind of happen. There are certain instances where it still happens, and I think it's unfortunately happening more, amongst certain media houses, amongst journalists from certain media houses, and among certain platforms, because social media has, democratized news. It has democratized media. So it's not just people who can, speak eloquently or presentable Hindi or English or any other language that can bring the news to the people. I think it has, which is a positive. I think it has helped make news more accessible, news gathering more accessible.